You know how you can just scratch an itch on your back without even looking? Or snatch a ball that's thrown from the side? It feels automatic, right? Well, it's all thanks to this hidden superpower you're using every single second, your brain's secret body map. Let's dig in and figure out how it all works. All right, so to really get a handle on this superpower, we've got to start with a puzzle. It's one that has totally stumped AI experts for decades, and it pits this super intelligent robot against, well, an ordinary toddler. So here's the big question. How is it that we can build a supercomputer that can absolutely master a game like chess, but we completely struggle to give a robot the basic physical skills of a 1-year-old? Seriously. For years, this has been a huge roadblock for roboticists. This head-scratcher has a name. It's called Moravec's paradox. So what this paradox shows us is this really weird flip-flop. You know, the things that we find hard, like complex math or abstract strategy, turns out that's pretty easy for computers. But the stuff we find completely effortless, like just walking across a room, that is incredibly difficult for a machine. And that's a massive clue, right? It tells us that our so-called simple actions are being powered by some serious hidden brain power. And that brain power is absolutely necessary to solve this huge coordination challenge. See, your brain is constantly being bombarded with information from all these different senses. And the crazy part is, they don't all speak the same language. Just think about it for a second. Each of your senses has its own, let's call it a reference frame. Your vision is eye-centered. It maps everything based on where it lands on your retina. Your hearing, that's head-centered, figuring out where sounds are coming from relative to your ears. And your touch is body-centered, pinpointing exactly where on your skin you're feeling something. To do, well, anything, your brain has to act like a universal translator, taking these totally different languages and mashing them together into one coherent reality. Okay, a really great way to picture this is to think back to that old video game Snake, right? Your sensory input is kind of like the top-down view, where you can see the whole game board. But your controls, they're locked into the Snake's first-person view. You can only tell it to turn left or right from where its head is. So to play the game well, your brain has to constantly translate that big picture view into what the Snake needs to do right now. And believe it or not, that's exactly what your brain is doing all day, every day with all your senses. So how in the world does the brain solve this incredible transformation problem? It does it by using a secret: internal map. So let's introduce the real star of today's show, the body schema. Now, this isn't a map you can just pull up and look at consciously. The body schema is this dynamic, constantly updated representation of where all your body parts are in space. It's the system that's guiding your every single action, and it does all its work completely behind the scenes without you even needing to think about it. Okay, and this is super important. We have to be really clear not to confuse the body schema with body image. They sound similar, but they're totally different. The body schema is the unconscious how system. Its job is to answer the question, where is my hand so I can use it? Body image, on the other hand, is the conscious what system. It's all about your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs about your body. It asks, do I like my hand? See the difference? Two very, very different things. And this system is just incredibly sophisticated. I mean, it knows where you are in space, it updates with every tiny movement you make, it adapts on the fly, and it seamlessly combines information from all your different senses into one picture. It even helps us understand what other people are doing by mirroring their actions in our own minds. It is a true powerhouse of the brain, no question. Okay, so if this map is totally unconscious, how do we even know it exists? Well, that's the cool part. Neuroscientists have proven it's there by finding these really clever ways to trick it, using some truly mind-bending illusions. All right, let's walk through one of the most famous experiments in all of cognitive science. It's called the rubber hand illusion. Here's how it works. Your real hand is hidden from your view, and a fake rubber hand is put right in front of you where you can see it. Then an experimenter starts stroking both your hidden hand and that fake hand at the exact same time in the exact same way. So now your brain is getting two signals. It sees the rubber hand being touched, and it feels your real hand being touched. It's got a conflict to resolve. And the result is, honestly, it's astonishing. For most people, the brain just decides to trust what it sees. It combines those conflicting signals and comes up with this bizarre experience. You actually start to feel the sensation of touch coming from the fake rubber hand. Your brain literally adopts the rubber hand into its own body map, as if it's your own. And it gets even weirder. The Pinocchio illusion is just as wild. In this one, scientists use a little vibrator on your bicep muscle. This tricks the special sensors in your joints, your proprioceptors, into telling your brain that your arm is extending, even when it's perfectly still. Now, here's the kicker. If you happen to be holding your nose while this is happening, you get the very distinct sensation that your nose is growing longer, just like Pinocchio. It's just another incredible demonstration of how flexible and, well, suggestible this body schema really is. So these illusions are brilliant at showing us just how flexible the map is. But what happens in the real world when this map gets distorted? Or even when we intentionally expand it? Yeah, when the body schema is damaged or just goes haywire, it can lead to some truly profound and honestly bewildering neurological conditions. Phantom limb syndrome is a really powerful example of this. After someone has an amputation, they can still have these incredibly vivid sensations that the missing limb is still there. They can feel it move, they can feel an itch, they can even feel pain. What's happening? It's the body schema. The brain's map is still there, persisting, even after the physical body part it represents is gone. Or take a condition called autotopic nausea. It's pretty rare, but in this case, a person's body map kind of loses its spatial organization. So they know what an elbow is, they can define it, but if you ask them to point to their own elbow, they just can't. The label is there in their mind, but the location on the map has been erased. And then you have the perfectly named Alice in Wonderland syndrome. This condition causes these bizarre distortions in how you perceive size. Body parts can suddenly feel way, way larger or much smaller than they actually are, almost as if the scale on the brain's internal map has been completely warped. But the story of the body schema isn't just about what happens when it breaks. And this might be the most incredible part of all, its ability to grow and adapt. Your map isn't fixed. It can actually expand beyond the limits of your own skin. And this happens every single time you use a tool. Seriously, whether it's something simple like a hammer or a rake, or even the car you're driving, your brain temporarily brings that object into your body schema. Neuroscientists can actually see this happening in brain scans. The receptive fields of certain neurons will literally stretch out to include the tool. Your brain starts treating the tip of that tool as if it's the tip of your own finger. You have literally extended your own body out into the world. And this brings us to one final really thought-provoking question. We started this journey with the simple actions of a toddler, and we've ended up with a brain that can merge with fake hands and even absorb the tools we use. So it really makes you wonder, if your internal map of you is this flexible, where do you really end, and where does the rest of the world begin?